Tonight we're in Aberafan for a winner-takes-all playoff. 4 teams have already fallen through the Premiership trapdoor. Llanelli don't want to join them. But standing in their way, Championship high flyers Pontypool. It's do or die then, as 2 of Wales's proudest rugby towns go head-to-head.
Saucepans on the boil. Good afternoon to you from Stradey Park.
Think about it, It's a thinking game.
I doubt whether there's ever been a crowd like this here at Pontypool Park. Faulkner, Price and Windsor the hooker.
3 of them really, as good as Wales have had since the war.
Roy Burgess is the happy man. A magnificent victory over Kirkpatrick's 7th All Blacks.
Perkins scores a try on the corner, up and under. Yeah, Evans, brilliantly done. Llanelli repeat their achievements of most years.
Has he got the strength? Will it get there? It's there! And look at that joy from David Bishop.
So much history, so much at stake, but look at those supporters, how excited they are. How are the coaches feeling though, I wonder? They've been talking to Phil Steele.
It's a massive game. It's it's so important, sort of there's a lot of history that's been obviously, with the club, but not only that as well, sort of, it's a huge game, I think, for the region as well. I think, the region feel that, they need 3 Premiership clubs to be able to sort of, to manage and sort of nurture sort of the, regional development players and academy players. So yeah, it's a huge game.
Yeah, I think the boys, there's obviously a bit of nerves in the camp, but I think there's a lot of excitement, not just within the squad, but actually around the town. Everyone's talking about it for the last couple of weeks. We've been building this for a couple of years, so it's time for the boys to deliver now.
Well, we're joined tonight by 2 who always used to deliver. Former Pontypool man Andrew Coombs and former Llanelli player Mark Jones. Andrew, let's start with that hair. Lovely mullet there, expensive.
Yeah, I think it's 5 haircuts in one, if I'm being honest. I don't know what I was doing there, but it looks a bit better now anyway, so that's the main thing.
Of course it is. Pontypool, what a game, what an opportunity for them at last tonight, Andrew.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for them. I just feel for them a little bit, 1 loss in 65 games, 3 years preparation, 3 years investing, and it all comes down to tonight. I really hope they can do it personally, ex-Pontypool player. It'd be great to see Pontypool back at top flight rugby.
And Llanelli, they really didn't want to be in this position, did they, right at the start of the season?
No, there was only 4 positions that were worse than this one, and Llanelli have struggled all the way through the season to try and get out of trouble, and on that last day they've been tasked with this huge challenge now of taking on this fantastic Pontypool team, and it's a scary thought to think Llanelli could go out of the top flight. When you think top rugby, you think Llanelli.
Yeah, you do indeed. Well, a big game like this, it deserves a big team talk. Let's go then inside the changing room, starting with Llanelli. They've got a very familiar and a very special face in there.
What wins games of this significance, and I've been involved in lots of them, really, is clarity of purpose, a clear understanding of the objectives, absolutely understanding what we have to do to deliver a result. That's key now.
It's games like this, yeah, will make their memories for you. They'll make them bonds for you. They'll make you super tight, yeah? And when you do retire, when that time comes, yeah, you make sure games like this, you can look these people in the eye, yeah, who you're going to bump into for the rest of your life, and you know that you give everything out there for each other.
Here we go then. For a place in the Principality Premiership next season, it's Llanelli against Pontypool. Over to our commentary team, Richie Rees and Gareth Charles.
Thanks, Kat. The Scarlets in a battle to see if they can get into Europe tomorrow night. But tonight, Llanelli to see if they can keep that place that Llanelli have always had in the top flight. Or can Pontypool, after being out for such a time, work their way back? From the Scarlets, Tom Pridey and Steph Hughes in his regular centre position, with younger brother Johan at 10. Mark Jones and Tom Price to bowl to the pack, but hooker Taylor Davis has to pack down in the back row, and only 22, 1 man short on the bench. Former Ponty fullback Geraint Walsh with experience for the Cardiff Blues 4 years ago. Kieran Meeks and the former Wales hooker Nigel. A very physical pack, especially the back 5. Mike Herbert and Aaron Quick could make an impact off the bench. And for a big game, it's a big referee. Nigel Owens in charge this evening at the Talbot Athletic Ground. Pontypool unbeaten in the National Championship. Llanelli 5th from bottom of the Principality Premiership. One to play in the revamped Premiership of 12 next year. All down to this game. And that's the kind of physicality that Pooler are going to throw at it right from the start. Llanelli may have the more sparkling names behind the scrum, but up front, Pontypool are going to battle all the way. Johan Hughes. Pass came from outside, so wasn't going for touch. Geraint Walsh. Safely taken.
Well, they got plenty of numbers to the left here.
Poor pass though, had to be taken on the bounce, and Johan Hughes has done very well indeed. Very useful little playmaker, a 10 to 21-year-old. Craig Thomas with a carry. Little dig through by Ryan Davis, but straight out.
Full of emotion the first 60 seconds, Gar, from Pontypool particularly. They've just got to be careful defensively now, though. They don't need to get caught up chasing the ball all over the field. Llanelli will look to play with some width this afternoon, this evening. So they just need to make sure, for example, they're split in the centres. They've got a centre either side of the breakdown. They haven't got 8-9 forwards congregated around any form of breakdown spread. Give themselves a little bit of width defensively.
Matthew Lewis, the short ball to Clayton Gullis. 25 games he's played for Pooler this season. But at the breakdown, first blood goes to Llanelli.
Yeah, interesting, tactical first play by Pontypool. So they hit up off the line out, hit into midfield, and then they slowed that down. They waited for Curtis Gregory, the young second row, to come around the corner. And he's carried, he's got stopped on the gain line, but he's only got one clearer. So as soon as you've got a ball carrier in one, you're always asking a defensive line to get in over the ball areas. You can see Curtis Gregory with the ball, but there's just one cleaner on him. It's Jamie June. There's nobody else around him. They're slowing that ball down too much already, Pontypool. I know it's the way they're going to want to play the game today, but they are not going to beat Llanelli over the ball if they've only got one clearer.
Great ball off the top from Tom Price, and how important will he be? Lovely ball to Ryan Davis. Hit the line well from that left wing. Perfectly weighted pass from Johan Hughes. And that's the kind of rugby Llanelli expect to play. Back. Gareth George just caught in for a moment. Ellis Thomas. Hands away! Hit by Danny Hodge. Hughes to brother Steph. Oh, nice wide pass again.
It's interesting, they're playing all-leg rugby off 10 at the moment. Look at Johan Hughes, everything off 10. And as soon as you get in this area of the field, teams normally play off 9. That's going to tell us a telling picture, that is.
Yeah, he is the playmaker. And up from full-back comes Callum Evans. But crossing, just giving in the extra protection and relief for Pontypool. Yeah. But the patterns being woven behind by Llanelli and pulling the strings in the opening stages, Johan Hughes.
Yeah, if you could have written the opening 3 minutes with Llanelli, that is practically the perfect start apart from the outcome, but that's how they're going to play this game. What have they got left? 76 minutes. So expect the likes of Steph Hughes and his brother at 10, Johan Hughes, to be all over this ball, trying to control them. But as you send forwards through in front of the line and look to play it out the back, you've got to go wide there, you've got to play to an edge, play to width. Callum Evans, who was highly thought of down west,
2 meters.
just decided to go back into his carriers. But Pontypool ball, let's have a look how they set themselves up.
Darren Hughes finding Curtis Gregory. Luckwell to Lewis. Going for the dink over the top, but too much traffic in midfield.
Vantage, knock on.
Knocked on by Llanelli as Meek goes the long way round. No, now this could be interesting.
Yeah,
no nonsense from Nigel. Yellow straight away, and Llanelli are down to 14.
Yeah, you've seen it more and more in the game now as defenders think they can make that tackle, but as Nigel's just explaining.
Chris Long went for it one-handed, and he knew immediately.
Yeah, the telling tale is he's got 3 men. Pontypool have 3 men within that 15-metre channel. So it's a clear line break, it's a clear 40-metre break. You can just see it now. Meek manages to get this ball away. Look, there's no one outside long, but there's 4 Pontypool attackers. So quite rightly, good call. Nige, there he is. He's got 10 minutes to have a little think about it.
Well, it's a very interesting situation for Llanelli. They've only got 3 forwards on the bench, and all 3 are front row forwards.
Yeah, and you even look at that 6 Taylor Davis. He's actually a hooker himself, so that sort of explains the scenario that they're in this evening.
They couldn't go to the Scarlets and get any recruits because A, the Scarlets are going to game themselves tomorrow, a very important game, and B, the Scarlets have got so many injuries anyway, they've got nobody spare.
Yeah, and the difficulty is from Llanelli RFC's point of view, you can only register 31 players. And in doing so, only 18 are available tonight, and they've had to permit 4 in, so the likes of Tom Brady, et al. So it's no coincidence they're under the pump, both to stretch the depth of their squad, but really, really engaging opportunity and game this will be this evening.
It's skipper Johnny Lewis who's gone up from centre to fill in as flanker.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Hold it there. Keep it up. Keep it up.
And they held their own at the scrum, and Steph Hughes takes it on.
That's what you want to see, though. Your leader, your more experienced player. Give me the ball. Let's go forward.
George to Johan Hughes. Again, trying to put the ball outside the defenders. Walsh looking for a bit of space behind. Steph Hughes has a look over his shoulder.
He's got to manage
Those 2
himself.
men are bearing down on him. And he's done well to clear, but it's not a great clearance in terms of length. And the harry from Lloyd Lewis and Geraint Walsh doing its job.
Yeah, great hassle defensively. Lloyd Lewis and Geraint Walsh. They don't need to force this past Llanelli this afternoon. This evening, Geraint Walsh spotting the space in the backfield, and then you can just see them looking a bit of pressure on Hughes. He bites himself a little bit of time. He's quite clear the right foot there. He didn't fancy it off the left. But this is Pontypool now. This is where they scored a couple of tries against Merthyr just a month or so ago.
Ben Sparks in there. Just slips it back. Slightly splintered, but still moving, Pontypool, and just getting it back from one to another, making sure they aren't caught there. And that's well worked, but now they have to use it.
Yeah, timing now of Luckwell is key. The 9 for Luckwell.
Lewis goes for the cross kick to the far side.
He's not enough on it.
Not enough time. Oh, now then. That was unnecessary.
Yes, Jordan Thomas, the left wing.
It was absolutely unnecessary on Callum Evans.
Get out of there. Get out. Get out, 13. Get out. Get out. No. Wait.
It is highly charged this evening, but there's got to be discipline as well.
To be fair to him, when he hit him, I hadn't blown the whistle, okay? So he had no idea that he had to stop. Yeah, I appreciate that. No problem. Free kick, no foul play.
No foul play, referee Nigel Owen says. He said he hadn't blown the whistle at the time.
Just about I was blowing the
Jordan
whistle. Already commit there. Still a free kick.
Thomas made contact.
From the mark.
So still just a free kick.
From the mark. There, just there.
Came through the academy system at the Dragons, did Jordan Thomas. Played a lot of his rugby at 15, but still only a young guy now.
Callum Evans was caught completely unawares.
Yeah, he didn't see it coming. They're the worst ones, though.
He'd called the mark, and he was just waiting, and all of a sudden, what on earth was that?
The old bone rattler. But there's quite a decent Pontypool crowd on that far side, so Jordan Thomas didn't pick up the whistle of Nigel Owens.
Away from his neck!
And the Pontypool of old love the driving line out, and it's something that's been handed down to this crew. Although that time, Llanelli deal with it.
Superb work by Ellis Thomas, the open side for Llanelli. He's just managed to get his hands on that ball and convert that driving line out to a turnover for Llanelli. It's great work by Ellis Thomas. And they just need to buy themselves time until they get back up to 15 men. Do Llanelli. Chris Long still in the bin, don't forget.
Not for me. Boys, let's go, please. Let's go.
We saw the old bank up at Pontypool Park in the opening pictures. It's not quite maybe to that kind of extent, but it's a good old crowd here at the Talbot Athletic. And very vocal as well.
Yeah, again, just expect Hughes up the middle.
Set! Hold it there!
We've got Pridey just lurking in behind the scrum, but you need just to effectively go narrow to this scrum. Try and get a bit of support to him.
There goes Steph Hughes, doing the hard work for his team. Ellis Thomas. Support from Craig Thomas. Johan Hughes. Ryan Davis.
Yeah, something defensively Pontypool need to think about. We mentioned it when they played up in Emerald Vale against Merthyr just last month. They need to bring more line speed. They're a number up, so effectively they can afford to get off the line. Narrow up defensively, because you know the Scarlets are going to come narrow initially. So get off that line more, bring more line speed.
Up comes Ryan Davis, he called for it well, and Mark Jones got out of his way, and now supports for Gareth George to get his hands on the ball. Change of mind from Johan Hughes. Stefan Hughes.
Hands away!
Evans, 10-metre line.
Just need to get a bit of control back in the half-back line, I think, now. Caught in the middle of the field.
There is Mark Jones, good hands, Johan Hughes. And in the gap goes Callum Evans. Look at every opportunity to join the attacking line. The full-back Ryan Davis has looked lively as well.
Yeah, he's on the ball a lot already, a big attacking threat. Always around your 9 and 10 effective, that defensive line.
He's already got 2 hat-tricks this season, as Ryan Davis. Hughes back inside to Mark Jones.
Lost! Hands away, lost!
There's the skipper, Johnny Lewis.
Play on, down underneath
with the backs rather than amongst the forwards where he was temporarily during the scrum. Driving on Ryan Thomas.
Lost now! Let him go, please.
Steph Hughes steps past Ollie Drake.
Counter ruck is good.
Gareth George arrives just in time. Taylor Davis.
Advantage.
He's gone forward. He's caught in 2 minds whether to go for the dummy or the pass, and eventually ball dislodged from his grasp.
Yeah, they've just got to be careful, Llanelli. They're playing an awful lot of 10, which we've highlighted already. But in doing so, it makes your defensive line a little bit easier to read. You know your runners are going to be coming inside, outside, so you can give yourself that little bit more width. Just try and pick him off. But they do need to change the picture every now and again to try and affect that defensive line and the width of it.
Scrum down, boys, knock forward. I just heard 22 and I didn't hear. Give me the colour. Thank you. Hey, you've been very good in the scrums, so we keep the same standards, please, okay? The shoulder. Middle, please. Crouch. Bind. Set. Hold it there. Hold it there. Stay there.
Luckwell.
Ball's gone, boys. Stay, hey, stay.
Pontypool happy just to work their way out of their 22.
Yeah, he can kick the ball, Matthew Lewis. He was a key part of that Pontypool game. Obviously, the player coach up in Pontypool is Matthew Jones, who's struggling with his ACL. He's had an op just 5-6 weeks ago, but he was excellent, Matthew Lewis. He's W Welsh Rugby Union hub officer. But the major strength of his game is his kicking game, both technically and tactically.
Time out, please.
It's Ollie Drake, tight head, and he's a big old unit as well. They're missing Aaron Cownley on the loose head this evening, Pontypool. Been a big part of that forward domination they've had.
Yeah, and they did have a bit of success at set-piece time. Against Merthyr, did Pontypool, and Cownley was a major part of that. But Drake, I know he's very highly thought of. He's got all the physical dimensions. He's got a decent work ethic. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes tonight. See if he can get him on the ball, a bit of space, add that running game.
Sorry, it's just down the road at the Liberty tomorrow night. Osprey Scarlets is on S4C at 10 o'clock. You can't get the full game. Tiny ball from the line out.
Yeah. Gareth George has got to manage this now. Johan Hughes is off his feet.
Johnny Lewis has filled in at 10. There he is.
Stay, stay. Okay, all on.
Lloyd Lewis just watching the bounce. Links up with Geraint Walsh. Back to Lewis, that's well worked. Luckwell to Darren Hughes.
Yeah, they've got all but one of their backs to the left of this breakdown. Now it's only Matthew Lewis, the 10 to the right.
Propped second row, a couple of back row boys were the other options, so there was only one option. Drive forward to see if you can get your shape back behind.
Okay, Hughes.
Rob Nash winning inches. Hodges trying to do the same through the middle. Lewis, Meek, in comes Ryan Davis, and again Llanelli over the ball, but this time it's Scott Matthews who comes away with it. Did that go forward? Play on for the moment. Yes, it did.
Forward here by White, then by Red. Excuse me.
They need to and keep an eye on things, certainly, and Nigel will need the assistance from Adam Jones and Richard Brace this evening, because Pontypool are not holding back.
Yeah, you try to look from an attacking perspective, you try to look at reoccurring attacking themes, so Llanelli clear playing off 10, and a standout for me already, so for Pontypool is they're probably looking to pick and go around those breakdowns.
Right,
4 or 5 metres around each breakdown. So defensively now, how Llanelli going to deal with it? Are they going to put their 9 in the boot, pull him from your front defensive line? Do you need to double bank at the breakdown?
Just keep it standing now.
Because Pontypool will go there all night long.
Crouch.
Christian Long back on the field. Llanelli back up to 15.
Hold it
Yeah,
there.
they managed that well,
there.
that 10 minutes.
The bind up.
Ryan Davis creeps over to that left touch line. No, Gareth George not allowed.
Sorry, Rich, what did you say before I got this side? Red. Okay. Before the offence this side, red is the call. The penalty is to Pontypool. Cheers, Rich.
Kerry Sweeney's last
Penalty
game for
only,
Ponty.
red going down
He's
on the other side of the
converted
scrum.
Alex Webber's try up at Sardis.
Yeah, fair play to him. He's still going at the moment, the grand old age of 56 years old.
Before my call.
But
he was
unbelievable career, fair play to him.
And he still hasn't forgiven you for not giving him man of the match in the Ponty Cardiff game a couple of weeks ago.
I spoke to him about an hour ago. He was still in tears about it, guy. He was still in tears. But to have the longevity in the game that he's had, he's played rugby at the highest level in a couple of different leagues, and it's a sign of the man for me. He's gone back to his home club, the one he's played over 100 games for, and he's committed to the cause for the last couple of seasons. And mentally in his head, he still wants to go again next year. But I think his wife, Helen, his kids, maybe his body is just telling him, give it up. But yeah, credit to him, and hopefully that Pontypool get a win this evening, not just for him, but to end their season well as well.
Interesting decision, that one, from Nigel, with the help from Richard Brace, to change the mind, because he'd given the penalty with the scrum going down, but Sean Evans had just had some illegal protection for Gareth George. That's why it was swapped. Just underneath it is Matthew Lewis, and doesn't quite carry.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that. He knows he can strike them. He knows he's got another 10 metres in that. And that's 2 kicks now, 1 out of hand in open play and 1 from dead ball. He's just undercooked. It is a big old pitch down here at the Talbot Athletic.
He's looking in pretty decent nick as well.
It is.
Walsh sends it high. Now then, was that well taken by Jordan Thomas. Now pressure on Llanelli's defence. Matthews.
Yeah, they have got the advantage as well, Pontypool.
Advantage. No
Walsh
advantage coming.
back on his feet. That's good to see. And they want to have a look at it to see if that was late or not.
Yeah, it's come in from the TMO John Mason, I think. So they've just been having a chat while play was going on.
I'm speaking to my TMO now, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mace, what have you got for me there?
Chris Long again.
It is.
I tell you what, he's had one yellow. This could be trouble.
Mark, just check. Lands as well. Okay.
It's back in
Hey,
his
what do you
own
got here
half.
for me,
It's
mate?
long as the issue. It's the
From what
same
I saw,
guy, he's
I
just
couldn't
back on the
tell without
field.
you telling me any different what happened there.
But for the importance of this game, I don't think anybody wants to see 15 v 14.
There, okay?
So
bear with me, Nige.
Okay. I'm speaking to my TMO. I'll get back to you now. Okay, time is out.
He's committed to the charge down.
Yeah,
no, Nige, we carry on where we were. The actual tackle was, as you say, committed, and he's actually hit him in the midriff. So it's not a high tackle either. Okay, it's just not a high tackle. It's not a penalty. It's you go back to where the stoppage was now.
Okay. Captain.
And the most relieved man at the Talbot Athletic Ground will be Christian Long, sorry.
My initial view at the time was that he was committed, okay? My TMO was checking because he thought it may have been high. It's not high, it's not late. So we were playing on, and the penalty was going to be over there against you for holding on. So there was no foul play here, okay? That's the TMO was checked. So we go back to over there, penalty for the holding on.
When they are going for holding on, do you make sure they support the movement?
Huh? Yeah, of course it will, yeah.
Yes, breathing, sigh of relief. Chris Long. But yeah, not much in that. I think it's a prep ball by John Mason.
There's no foul play. Holding on is the offence here, okay? Time out.
Taylor Davis to throw in, that's interesting.
Yeah, number 6 on his back. Mark Jones, though, was known quite clear in the game for his ball carrying ability, standing out in that back line to giving them that extra ball carrying option.
Okay, he was in peace. Leave it, leave his legs there. Number 5, stay where you are.
George goes aerial. Lewis. He does look sharp.
X-17s, X-Dragons, X-Cross Keys.
The other Lewis, Matthew. Meek.
Want to look to come back right
tackler.
now.
First offence, number 12.
Not rolling away from the tackle area. Jonathan Lewis.
First offence, number 12. I can't reward you because you're number 12.
The first quarter
moved away.
may be pointless, but it's certainly not lacking in action or incident. Missed touch though, kept in by Callum Lewis and Johan Hughes.
Stay red, 24, stay!
Put the ball off the park.
When I say stay, you stop. Don't keep jogging.
Yeah, it's lack of continuity from both teams at the moment, I think, and just a little bit of indiscipline and inaccuracy probably. Both teams hasn't really allowed them to go through the phases. Llanelli did for the first 3 minutes of the game, but we haven't seen much since that.
Gregory.
Stay! Okay, 11 is on.
Drifting towards the touchline.
It's interesting in it tactically. Oh, they're setting themselves up. Pontypool's a halfway attacking line. It's a prime attacking part of the field.
But
they're not willing to play an awful lot of rugby in their own half. So they went, Luckwell went straight back to the air.
Come in, lads.
Just a tad short the kick.
Yeah,
but they've got the ball back.
You need to be in 5.
And here they go, left-hand side scrum.
Okay. Just keep the good work in the scrums, please, lads.
What's on for Pontypool behind you? Jordan Thomas ready to come in from the left wing.
Crouch. Bind.
Lloyd Lewis right out on the right-hand side.
Nothing wrong with that gap.
Free kick.
Let him go.
Ben Sparks takes it straight at and straight through the Llanelli defence. Luckwell to Hughes.
Hands away, it's a ruck.
Scott Matthews offers himself, but it's back to Matthew Lewis. Kieran Meek.
Leave it,
to the
leave it,
blind
get up,
side.
you two, get
Ollie
up.
Drake calls. Lewis, up comes the Llanelli defence. Darren Hughes strong enough to withstand Johan Hughes' tackle. Meek. Patience for the moment by Pontypool.
Yeah, if they're playing off line, they just need to tighten the length of these passes up a bit. You're allowing, really bringing this Llanelli line speed onto them. They're a little bit more organised defensively, Llanelli.
Round they come again. Curtis Gregory. Sparks, who started it all with a bust on the other side of the field. But again, it's Llanelli who win at the breakdown, and they get a chance to clear the decks.
He's on his feet, lads. No clear out by you.
Our fish hunt, boys, listen. Our fish hunt was that. Leave the ball and go for
There's nothing wrong with the last scrum. There was good space there, and you made no attempt to bind. There was plenty of space. No, there's plenty of space. Just follow my calls and get in, please. There's nothing wrong with it.
So 23 minutes played, no points on the board. And another touch missed. Walsh. Matthews. And they're getting plenty of possession at Pontypool.
Mark Jones got a nasty cut on his head. He's back on his feet, though. He's back in that defensive line. He was split at the previous contact area.
You need attention for that.
And here he is.
Stay nine. Behind the defence, and there's Lloyd Lewis. He's first to the ball, watches the bounce, but then misses it. And Ryan Davis and Callum Evans between them get it away from the try line, where that looked like a certain try for Pontypool. Those are the vagaries of a rugby ball.
This ball needs to go off the field if you're let it out.
Well, a let-off for Llanelli, without a doubt. And Johan Hughes, living on his nerves.
No advantage from the knock-on.
But there was an advantage being played anyway, and it will be a Llanelli scrum.
Time out.
And Lloyd Lewis, head in hands, knows he has a chance to be the first try scorer of the evening.
Yes, his head is in his hands, but you can see why the ball is there for him. It just sits up over his head. Ryan Davis is working back, but a man on the pace of Lloyd. Lewis, he's just got to check his feet as he's going in to approach that ball. He's knocking himself on the head.
Okay, blood on, boys.
That's the first real opportunity that Pontypool have created.
Blood on.
Mark Jones to get off, and we'll hear what the Pontypool coach thinks of it, because he's with Phil.
Leighton Jones, any concern, like that you've had lots of territory in possession, just can't tick that scoreboard yet?
No, I just think we're getting down there, and we're just making some unforced errors. You know, we give a couple of penalties away because we're not cleaning out the rucks and stuff like that. But I think it's been a bit of a nervy start, but I think we are growing into the game. But I think you're right there, we do need to get a score on the board.
Bit of a sickener, those rugby balls, the way they roll and bounce sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, thought it was going to set up nice for him, but there we go, it's a bounce of a ball, I suppose.
And just how vital do you think that first score will be, particularly if it's a try?
If it's for us, yeah, I think it'll give us massive confidence to go after him again then. Hopefully we get it.
Cheers, Leighton.
Thanks.
Lovely, as always.
Lost on you, lads.
Second try for Pontypool, Morgan Sinowski, again converted by Kerry Sweeney. Ponty look pretty much odds on to finish third, with Cardiff runners-up behind.
When you follow the ball round,
crown champions last week.
He's quite entitled to be behind the ball.
Yeah,
so
Cardiff are up North Wales against RGC tomorrow as well.
Okay, time on. Crouch.
Second George on the field for Llanelli. Gareth has the ball in his hands. Greg is now in the middle of that front row. It's well controlled by Sean Evans.
The driving lads,
and
breaking off
they kept it straight.
The drive is square.
And that'll be very pleasing for the men in red.
What are you doing? We're still doing. What are you still doing here? Back 10 then, please.
Danny Odja, the absolute nuisance, having a chat with Nigel Owens.
What are you still doing here, was the question asked. He's not the captain, so... Got his business. Huh?
Good set piece here. Llanelli. It's just putting the squeeze on, and it's just what they need to get out of their own 22, calm things down a bit. Look to get Mark Jones back on the field. I don't like Curtis Gregory. He's got a great work ethic. He's chasing everything down. He's a big, tall guy. He's not the weightiest.
Making life very uncomfortable for Gareth George. And there's the other George, Greg, carrying.
Stay. No, go back. Stay there now.
Ellis Thomas at scrum half. Lewis to Steph Hughes. Ellis Thomas. Llanelli have been camped in their own half for a long, long time now.
Gareth George setting this kick up.
Yes.
Oh, it's Gregory again.
Gregory. And he gets it away to Hughes. Darren Hughes for the try line. Tremendous tackle by Callum Evans. What the try saver from the fullback. But they're still on the heels of Llanelli.
It's a yellow card, that is.
Scott Matthews.
Okay, number 15, okay.
Can Pontypool put it to bed this time? Jordan Thomas.
Okay.
Well, not on that occasion, but they'll get their chance because Llanelli are going to be down to 14 for a second time. Callum Evans put in the try-saving tackle, but
and I have
then
another offence, you offside.
He did all the hard work. He made a superb covering tackle, got back, got to his feet, got caught up in emotion, off his feet, slowing down, and then no release. And they're back down to 14, Llanelli. 26 minutes in. Interesting decision. Curtis Gregory again, though. We literally just touched on his work ethic. Great inside support line.
That's a brilliant tackle.
Great inside support line by Darren Hughes. Superb tackle. But interesting decision now. Pontypool
31 gone, so
pointed for the sticks, but Gregory's everywhere.
So I think about 11, I think.
Son of ex-Edward Vale, second row. Mark Gregory. But yeah, he's really shining.
Well, I don't then.
In the opening 30 of this game.
Well, Llanelli will have spent half the first half with 14 men.
Yeah, with 14 men and with very, very little territory in possession.
Change of kicker for the shorter range kick. Kieran Meek puts over the first points of the evening. And Pontypool go ahead with a dozen minutes for the first half remaining.
This is where you need to look to your leaders, you need to look to the Steph Hughes, you need to look to the Tom Prices. These are the sort of guys that will get you out of trouble. These are the guys that will dig deep.
Tom Price is a name we haven't mentioned so far.
Yeah, we haven't seen it, but that tells you a story of the game.
Yep.
So they have been on the ball very, very little, and when they were in that opening 5-6 minutes, then it was all backs play. We were playing everything to width.
Ben Sparks safely underneath it.
Luckwell going to go straight back to territory. Good decision for
Pontypool. The ball is
out!
Luckwell.
No, he was right, he was in line.
Pridey and Johan Hughes together. It's Pridey who takes, but good following up from the Pooler skipper, Rob Nash. George to Steph Hughes. Johnny Lewis. Little option. Walsh. Ooh, that's been judged as a knock-on. Geraint Walsh, you'll be thinking, well, I turned halfway round to make sure that I didn't knock it on.
It didn't go forward, you think, no? Good for me.
Yeah, he's right. That Jones is the assistant referee on the far side. Apology, Nigel.
Yeah, your scrum. My mistake, lads. I thought it went forward. The AR's confirmed it's gone backwards. Scrum, your ball.
Fair play to him, correcting the error. But yeah, it's definitely gone back for me. As you touched on, guys, turned his body.
Scrum, your ball.
Get Walsh, the ex-Pontypool 15. Had a bit of experience, that relatively young Pontypool backline.
31 on Sunday. Geraint Walsh. Great attacking full-back in his day.
Yeah. Pace, footwork, ability to beat the man in narrow spaces.
Crouch.
Just at the 4 games for the Blues back in 14-15.
Hold it there, lads, hold it there.
A man short. Llanelli in this back line again, so let's have a look how they set up Pontypool.
And Pridey waiting just outside his own 22. And he comes into play now. Looking to counter. It's one man. Lewis with a tackle. Good angle, good great work by Sean Evans. Has Ellis Thomas alongside him, dummies him, used him so well. No need support though, hands in there from Jordan Thomas. Craig Thomas tries to fire it out, knocked on by Ben Sparks.
Yeah, just
deliberately, was it? What? It's all happening.
Just a knock on.
So many decisions,
just a knock
so
on.
close out there.
Gareth George made the wrong decision for me. He's got to go left, he's got to keep the tempo on it. As he's gone right, he was a forward in at first receiver, and then he's looking to throw the missed ball over the top.
Genuine attempt to get the ball, just a knock on.
But this is a line break. Great footwork by Sean Evans. Look at the outside support line he's got. He showed the ball. It's committed, Gerard was, but there he's just got to go left. Look who's standing in at first receiver on the left-hand side of the field, but he's gone right.
No, it's not the same.
And then do it, so you're asking a tight five, you're asking a front row forward to make a decision with limited time on the ball.
I tell you what, that's an interesting call, because there was two Llanelli players outside him and no Pontypool cover.
The ball.
That
not
was
a deliberate knock-on.
A very, very close one.
Yeah, he was just explaining it there. Not a deliberate knock-on. He went for the ball. So Sparks, he's got away with one.
I'm glad on the one hand, because so many times these days, if anybody goes for the ball one-handed, it's automatically given a penalty. You're taking the one-handed interception out of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's go as they settle down for the scrum. Let's hear from the Llanelli coach, Paul Fisher. He's with Phil.
Paul, your thoughts on the opening half hour?
Yeah, really disappointed, to be honest, with our discipline, you know, sort of 2 yellow cards. Just feeling we need to control the game a little bit more and just hold the ball and play a little bit wider to try and move sort of, you know, the big park around.
Big chance here.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Cheers, Paul.
Cheers, Phil.
Hold it there, lads.
Pressure on the Llanelli scrum, but Sean Evans gets it away to Johnny Lewis.
They need to stay in possession of the ball now, Llanelli. Control this set phase.
Round the corner comes Greg George. Johan Hughes. Dummy from Taylor Davis. Davis still going, still on his feet. Luckwell brings him down, just a couple of metres short. To the blind side they go. Johan Hughes, and in the corner, Ryan Davis.
Ooh, just forward pass, knock on.
Whoa,
knock on, not given, not given. Well done, Nago, so. Good talk.
Yeah, I think this come from the assistant referee.
The TMO will be checking everything.
Richard
if there is,
Brace.
come and let me know, okay? Lost
Ryan
on
Davis
scrum,
down.
you ball. Time out, please.
An awkward tumble as he's got the ball away, but let's have a look.
Come here. I just quite clearly told you now that my TMO will be checking everything. I don't want you shouting across on my yards then, is that clear?
Told him for forward pass,
if you had, you'd have been the flag out.
Not quite sure what that was for.
Tone down this communication now, please.
He's
okay?
knocked it
or
on.
it will end here, and I will speak to your vice captain.
In grounding,
this is
that
the second time now.
he's
My
ruled,
TMO
or?
is checking everything. If there is something, I will come back to you and let
Let's
you
have
know.
a look at the grounding.
That'll be the end of it.
Oh,
he's lost it. He's lost it.
It's great vision by the officials. Fair play to them.
Hello, mate.
Bracey
spot on.
Knock on.
Yeah, cheers. Has he gone off?
Oh, and he had time. He had time. He didn't need the
He was already over the line,
elaborate
wasn't he?
dive.
Yeah, he was already
he
over
could
the
have
line.
just fallen over.
Superb work by the assistant referee, Richard Brace. Fair play, but it looks like Davis is off the field. Here comes Connor.
Well, that really is adding insult to injury. Didn't ground the try when he should have, and injured himself in doing it as well. And it's the end of the game for Ryan Davis.
Yeah, and the man who replaces him, Ryan Cornabeer. Majority of you would have heard of him. He's been training with Wales 20s for the last couple of weeks for their impending jaunt in the World Cup.
Good work,
so he's on the field, but everybody knows what an attacking threat he is.
Double disappointment for Ryan Davis as the Whitland player leaves the field.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
He's big, he's strong, he's fast as Ryan Conbeer.
Great scrum, Pontypool.
There's a terrific scrum.
No advantage coming. Number one, angle across. One, loose head, cross.
Yeah, it's gone against Craig Thomas.
No, not yet. We've got about 5 minutes. 7.5.
Oh.
Just about got there. And it's a cracking kick in the end as Mark Jones returns for Llanelli.
Right, Pontypool have really got a mindset now. What are they, just 7 minutes before half-time? They've really got to squeeze it up, really put a bit of pressure onto this Llanelli team leading into half-time. Manage your phases, go multi-phase, get your bigger carries on the ball early. Get the likes of Danny Hodge, Ollie Drake, Scott Matthews.
Gregory secures at the front. Sparks in there. Hughes in there. Matthews in there. And Matthews breaks away. George with a tackle. Luckwell in support. Steps back inside. Into Llanelli's 22.
Lost now, Scarlets lost. Red, sorry, Llanelli.
Darren Hughes sets it up again. Hodge. Pick and go again.
Yeah, they cannot afford to get isolated. They're going to go into the pick and go game, but you've got to be really, really close to this initial ball carrier.
Hands away in there, lads.
Oh, Llanelli were claiming the turnover there, but it's not given.
Get Hughes, please.
Pontypool still in possession.
Look how tight they're attacking
Hands
around that
away,
breakdown.
Red.
Yes, it's easy to defend.
The big man, Ollie Drake. Again, screaming for the turnover. Again, they're denied.
Stay.
Nash with Danny Hodge in support.
They're just static on the ball, though, are these forward carries who need to stay in movement.
You tackle the wrong man. You tackle the support player, not the ball carrier. 24. He tackled the support player, not the ball carrier.
Gone.
Which may have contributed to not a good clear out. That's why you would have had a turnover.
It's actually the hooker who took out Danny Hodge.
5 minutes left.
Yeah.
5. I don't know.
This is an interesting decision now. What does Rob Nash, the captain, do?
24,
Yeah, he's gone for the posts. But he's right where he's saying, so Mark Jones has taken Danny Hodge out. Danny Hodge was going to be your first clearer of that breakdown. And then Mark Jones taking Hodge out. It opens up the opportunity of Jack Lyryn over the ball. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, good decision. On the money, Nigel Owens.
Yeah, Mick again. Not far away from the original spot. He's slotted his first.
He's approaching 300 points for Pontypool. A deathly hush around the Talbot Athletic. Turns into a cheer from the Pontypool fans as Kieran Meek puts over his second penalty. And with just 4 minutes of the first half remaining, Pontypool go ahead by 6 points to 0.
Yeah, and with Llanelli's discipline being so poor, if this gets to 9, 12 points with Pontypool, when between Meek and Lewis they just keep slotting over the 3 points, then this game is going to go away from Llanelli. They've got to sort out the discipline.
Great height on that and perfect distance. Gave the forwards every opportunity, but everybody missed it. In goes Conbeer.
Turnover's gone.
It's a great turnover. One-handed turnover again.
Back.
Taylor Davis. Mark Jones looks for the offload and Johnny Lewis just about hangs on to it. George has a look. Up comes the Pontypool defence, right in the faces of the Llanelli forwards.
They weren't expecting that. Craig Thomas.
Steph Hughes. On his knees. Johan Hughes. Ellis Thomas.
Lost now.
And it's forwards on the wide outside, though. It's Tom Price who's out there.
Tackle!
Because they're missing Callum Evans. Tom Pridey is on the left wing. The dummy again from Taylor Davis. Sparks just about hangs on.
Taylor Davis getting the ball in his hands. So dynamic as he carries.
In the end, it's a nice kick from Johan Hughes, but Pontypool won't be too disappointed with that outcome.
Yeah, they probably thought themselves, look, we've got 9-10 faces, we're running out of options. So Johan Hughes, he's just put his foot on it, threaded it through. You can see Gary Walsh is going to struggle to get there. So now they've done that, they've got the outcome, they've got to put a bit of pressure on this Pontypool lineup.
Comfortable though for Curtis Gregory. Now this could be Llanelli's last chance in the first half. He thought they'd got in that corner, they should have got in that corner.
1.5.
Keep your eyes on Ryan Conybeare on any form of breakout play.
No, you undone your laces, move.
He's going to be floating. He's so difficult to stop one-on-one. He's relatively low to the ground. He's got superb footwork. So Mark Jones is in at 9. Here they go.
Conybeare just standing on Johan Hughes' inside shoulder, but the forwards keeping it tight initially. Still on their feet, still moving, edging towards that Pontypool try line. Taylor Davis is joined by the Llanelli backs, and they're still going.
There's 13 in there.
Up to the try line they go. Can Davis get the ground is the only question. Yes, says Llanelli. Yes, says Nigel Owens.
It's just what Llanelli needed before half-time as well. Just 60 seconds left on the clock, and if it's a man who deserves it, it's that guy, Taylor Davis. He's been superb ball in hand. He's been everywhere on the field. And he's just latched, he's attached himself onto that driving line out. He's got the added weight to 12 of his teammates with him. Well, and over they go.
He's been well used to being in this position as a hooker. Does it with 6 on his back this evening, but look at all the backs joining in. And nothing Pontypool could do to keep them out.
Yeah, he smuggled it back in the end off Mark Jones, the actual guy who started hooker today.
Yeah, there.
That's just what Llanelli needed. And again, just takes it back to win a couple of points. See how Pridey goes with this touchline conversion.
First time they've had something to cheer about this evening, the Llanelli fans. 55 points in the 6 games he's played for Llanelli, Tom Pridey. These two, potentially as important as any. Just a metre or two in from the touchline. Nicely struck. Superbly struck. And after all that, after being behind for 39 minutes, it's Llanelli who turn ahead by the smallest of margins, by 7 points to 6. It's been a real ding-dong battle, but Llanelli have the only try of the half, and they have the lead as well. It's Llanelli 7, Pontypool 6. The skipper, Johnny Lewis, is with Phil.
Johnny, how timely was that converted try?
Oh, it's a massive boost. You know, we've defended for probably 30 minutes that first half, and to go in on half-time leading is huge for us. Oh, sorry.
What's the secret of the second half, do you reckon?
Well, we know they're going to come out same physicality. So if we can match them physically, we've had a couple of chances to score a few tries, so if we can nail 1 or 2 of them, I think we'll be all right.
Thanks for your time. Have a good orange.
Thank you, bud. Cheers.
Ooh, now this could be interesting.
Yeah, gone. He's in a bit.
No nonsense from Nigel. Yellow straight away, and Llanelli are down to 14. There's Lloyd Lewis. He's first to the ball. Watches the bounce, but then misses it. Kieran Meek puts over the first points of the evening. And in the corner, Ryan Davis.
Ooh, forward pass, not gone.
Oh, not given, not given.
Yeah, disappointment there for Llanelli, but look at this. The vital first try of the game coming for Taylor Davis just before half-time, and Llanelli go in with that lead. Yes, what a feisty first half we've had, just as expected, I guess, Mark.
Yeah, it was. It's been very, very physical. It's been a little bit end-to-end on times, but I would say Pontypool have enjoyed the majority of the territory. They probably had equal amount of chances each. And I think the scoreline's a fair reflection of actually how the game has gone. But that'll be a big boost for Llanelli, that try right on half-time. That's just what they needed before going in.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because we mentioned that first try would be so important. That they have looked sharp.
They have.
Parts of this game, Llanelli.
Yeah, they've huffed and puffed, and they've had good field position here off the back of some good approach work. They're unlucky not to score through Ryan just prior, and they showed good composure. They get them all set well at the front, and then it's all about work rate. Once you get it set, it's about pumping the legs and getting over the line. And like you say, it's probably what they've deserved. They've had enough opportunities, and they'll be pleased to actually get one converted. I think after all the hard work they've put in.
Yeah, great setup work from Llanelli there. As you can see, strong at the front. Pontypool players just spilling out there, not getting back round quick enough and getting back into position. And that's the difference, really. When you play in the Premiership, once you come out of that maul, you've got to get back in it and help your team out. So just a learning curve there for Pontypool.
So we had to wait about 40 minutes, really, for that first try. But it wasn't a boring first half at all. We had plenty of opportunities, Andrew.
Yeah, there was opportunities out there. And Pontypool, like Mark said, the fair share of possession. They needed to convert points. But this was the first chance that Pontypool had. Lloyd Lewis just waiting for that ball to sit up. It didn't want to come. And unfortunately, that opportunity's gone. Llanelli, they look sharp when they had the ball. They cut Pontypool open there. Just Pontypool's defence in midfield is getting a little bit lax, and you just sense Llanelli are capitalising on that. And I think that Llanelli have got another gear in them. Unfortunately for Llanelli there, just a loose head prop in at 10, goes to the long pass, and obviously a knock on there from Pontypool. But, again, in the corner, I honestly thought Llanelli were in here for the first try of the game. Ryan Davis just couldn't get that ball down, unfortunately for him. But as we said, there's opportunities out there, and you feel the second half there's going to be more of that. Llanelli definitely got another gear. Is how Pontypool manage this game. They've got to get their hands on the ball and maintain possession and control that territory again. Yeah, a disallowed try for him, and he also had to leave the field with an injury, a double blow, if you like. You mentioned Pontypool's defence not really at its best, but Llanelli, they looked, well, sharper in that area.
Yeah, they've looked very comfortable in phase defence. Pontypool have got some big runners, but they're very direct. They haven't got a lot of options around the ball carrier. So I think Llanelli's back row in particular have targeted the ball carriers. They've selected low tackles and isolated them, and you can see here then they're getting over the top of the ball and putting huge pressure and making Nigel Owens make some decisions about whether they're holding on or not. And I think Pontypool are big men. They're not necessarily the most athletic at getting down and cleaning those low body positions that Llanelli are getting themselves into.
Yeah. One area that Pontypool definitely wanted to dominate was up front. Their driving maul, something you thought they might have worked on during the week, but it hasn't really been firing as it should.
No, I think they had 3 opportunities in the first half early on, and 2 of those resulted in a turnover. This was the first one. The setup isn't too bad. There's a lot of pressure from Llanelli, but they just peel off that. It's what happens after it. They're not in control, really, after this moment. So it's an area that they have to tighten up on, because they have to win that battle. That's one battle they need to win with the big pack as they have. And when they played Merthyr in the Cup a month ago, it was a successful area for them. I recall them driving Merthyr down the field, 10, 20 metres. So they need that to function for them if they're going to win this game.
We'll look ahead to the second half in a few minutes, but Phil Steele, he's a legend here on Scrum 5, and he's got a few legends of his own as company.
Yeah, here we are. Llanelli's Wales Triple Crown winning prop of 1988. Anthony Buchanan, of course, the legend of the legends here. Graham Price, Wales' most capped forward. Wales' most capped Lion, in fact. Before we talk about the game, you've got a great story, I know, of one game that you played for Llanelli against... Tell us about that, it's worth telling.
No, it was in early days, and I always think a bit of fortunate luck of scoring a try against Pontypool, but that's all I can say is I paid the penalty afterwards. When Graham got hold of me then, there's no way that I go anywhere but down and backwards. So I learned a big lesson on that day, I can assure you.
To this game now then, Bucks, slightly fortunate to be ahead, Llanelli, would you say?
Yeah, but you can't get 2 yellow cards and still think, that and Pontypool missed a great opportunity to score a try there. But the only good thing I really feel that, at the moment, Llanelli haven't played well at all. So I'm hoping second half that we can push the ball a bit wider and get the ball to the wings. And obviously, we're hoping our fitness will come through.
Graham, on Pontypool's point of view, then any worry is the fact that you've had most of the game, but you're still down?
Yeah, well, we missed a couple of opportunities there, and I think, over enthusiasm, the boys are really up for it. It's a huge game for them after 3 years of really doing their damnness to get in this position. And, well, let's hope they're going to settle down in the second half, and perhaps they'll score, and we'll have some results to come to fruition.
So more of the same from Pontypool in the second half, tactically?
Well, I think so. They're playing in Llanelli's places, or should I say Llanelli and the Scarlets' faces, And and putting them off their game, and that's why Llanelli are not playing that well at the moment.
Great to see you both. Thanks for your time, boys. Catherine, I can tell you there's lots of legends. Charlie Faulkner is up in the stand, Gareth Jenkins, Ian Evans, Marky Brown, former Pontypool lad. In fact, there's so many legends in this ground, famous people in this ground. I'm the only one in the ground that I've never heard of.
How do I answer that? Thanks, Phil. Right then, it is that time of season, isn't it? Plenty of comings and goings in between clubs, and we've been to catch up with one player who's winging his way back to Wales and the Cardiff Blues next season.
The way the Blues have gone past 18 months is exciting. The brand of rugby they play really excites me. They've got some quality players in them key roles. Thomas, Lloyd at 9, Jared at 10. They're open players, they play fast, which will suit my game, and with the signing of Hallam as well, there's massive competition in that back three, so that's only going to improve us as players, and it's something I am looking forward to now, yeah.
And if you head to the BBC Wales Sport website, you can see a bit more of that interview from Josh Adams. No Cardiff Blues in action tomorrow night, but two of the Welsh regions, Ospreys and Scarlets, in a Champions Cup playoff at the Liberty. And you can see that game in full on S4C at 10 o'clock. Well, let's talk then about that game. A massive, another one like this evening, actually. It's like a cup final, isn't it, for both sides?
Yeah, it's a massive game. Both teams are going to set out to win that game for sure. There's a lot on the line tomorrow. It's sad that they're both in this position. You would hope that they would have qualified by now, but it is what it is, and I think it's going to be a ferocious battle tomorrow. Both teams just going head to head for it. Yeah,
and the irony, because a few months ago we were talking about these two regions coming together.
Yeah, there is a lot of irony within it. And I'm sure it'll be actually a motivating factor for both parties, I think. I would imagine the coaches will be mentioning some of that in their pre-match in terms of just trying to get that extra 2 or 3% out of the players. But I think what will be important, on the day is who keeps themselves emotionally controlled. You can see discipline today has played a part already in this match. And I think it'll be likewise tomorrow. I think the side that has the best discipline, keeps their mental composure, will probably come out on top.
Can you pick a winner? Ospreys at home, Scarlets, few injuries?
I'd probably say the Ospreys are looking strongest tomorrow, with the home advantage as well. So, yeah, I'd probably back the Ospreys if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. What I would say is there's a hell of a lot of good quality players on the pitch with the Scarlets, even with their injuries. So there's a lot of point scoring ability there. But you have to fancy the Ospreys at home. That probably just edges it maybe.
Okay, well, back to this evening then. Just the 1 point separating Pontypool and Llanelli. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination for Pontypool, but how do they get themselves back into it, Andrew?
Well, they can't afford to concede early on now. They have to take the lead. They have to come out and score some points first, otherwise Llanelli, I just feel they've got out of the gear. They're going to run away with it if Pontypool don't come out and get that first score.
And if they sort out their discipline, as they were mentioning in that first half, Llanelli?
Yeah, I think Llanelli are going to have a patch of the ball in this game where they're going to put a lot of width on it and a lot of ball retention into it, and I think Pontypool may struggle with it if Llanelli can implement that. But of course, Pontypool have been great so far at preventing that, and they'll be looking to do that for the full 80 minutes, not just 40.
Well, there we go then. 40 minutes left in this playoff. Llanelli with a point advantage, but the Pooler, can they get themselves back into it? The fans hope so. We'll have to wait and see. We will know in 40 minutes' time who will be playing in that Premiership next season. Back we go then to our commentary team, Richie and Gareth.
Thanks, Kat. I wonder what words of inspiration were said in those two changing rooms during the interval. The inspiration coming right at the end for Llanelli, after two teams hadn't taken their chances before then, but they did with Taylor Davis and Tom Pridey's conversion, giving them the slimmest of leads at 7 points to 6 at half-time. Llanelli back to 15 men. Callum Evans, yellow card, back on.
Lost now, boys.
So the big prize of the final place in the Principality Premiership still very much at stake. In the final 40 minutes of the season for the two teams. Luckwell. Missed by Callum Evans.
Yeah, he was just a little bit checked on that kick chase. The key indicator for that is, does he change his line to check and watch Lewis? Nah. Sean Evans is all right, he's got his back to him, doesn't see him coming. Oh, David Lewis has got a double scan. The ball was in front of him.
Pontypool, give a step, please, boys.
A weakened Merthyr.
Pontypool number 8.
Champions already. Certainly not getting the end of season they would want. Or Dale McIntosh on his return to Sardis Road. 33-0 at half-time. Oh, lovely ball by Johan Hughes to Conbeer. Conbeer steps inside, goes one way then the other, steps on the gas.
Oh, Lloyd Lewis, what a tackle, Lloyd Lewis.
Incredible, incredible.
Again, all the hard work was done in attack. We mentioned him, we name-dropped him when he came on the field. Soloed, and watch him just hang on the shoulder on the inside of that. It's a lovely little ball, then he just backs his running ability, his ability to beat a defender one-on-one. Lloyd Lewis, he's tracked him from the other side of the field. Superb work, Lloyd Lewis. And Ryan Connery just got to transfer that ball to the hand, use his fend. He doesn't do it quick enough, but Lloyd Lewis, superb work.
What a try saver from Lloyd Lewis.
You talk about fine margins on these games of this magnitude. We've seen 2 tries that should have been scored.
Set, hold it there, lads.
Brilliant attitude, though, defensively. And it just shows how much is hanging on this game. Big tackle by Johan Hughes on number 8, Ben Sparks. Everybody's putting their bodies on the line. That one's in field to Pridey. Straight out to Callum Evans.
They've got to go width, got to go width.
Conbeer has Steph Hughes in support. Slips out of Lewis's tackle this time. The other one was far more important on the try line.
He's in the first and on his feet.
Yeah,
He's
Scott
in
Matthews.
The first on his feet.
It's the first real time we've mentioned him at the contact area. That's been his unique selling point for probably 5, 6, 7 years, the time he spent at Cross Keys. And now the last couple of seasons has been at Pontypool. But his timing on top of the ball is outstanding. He's not the biggest of guys. He's got short levers, and once he's on it, he's so difficult to remove. He's in the mould of Stefan Armitage. Look at the timing on the ball. And if he's there first, his chest is on top of that ball, you ain't getting him out of there. Superb work, Scott Matthews.
Again, Gregory is the target in the line.
Wait, hang on, boys, hang on.
And
Time
tidy
out,
mess as he ended up on Ryan Thomas's shoulders.
He's going to
say no, wait a minute now. Let's be fair now. We have you holding him up there and delaying, which you can't do. And you as well, you need to be more careful. So we're going to go again, same line now, please, okay? Bring him down straight away. Get your timing better. Both of you at fault. Excuse me? Hang on, God, you didn't. Thank you.
Just see Nash's arms are still extended, aren't they? He's not willing to let him down. Gregory will stay up there all day. But great call. Nigel Owens in the end. Let's just go again.
Good sensible refereeing again. Second chance for Pooler to try and get this driving maul going.
Stay there. Red 6, reload.
Luckwell ready to take it off Darren Hughes. But forwards keep it. Now the scrum half gets it and nowhere to go really except back towards those forwards.
Yeah, he had all his forwards in front of him now. They've got to rebuild now. Pontypool get numbers back on their feet. Do not get isolated in carry.
That's a ruck now.
Now the pick and go we saw so much from Pooler towards the end of that first half is what they're relying on. And you've got to wonder how much gas the Llanelli forwards have left in the tank. To remind you, they've got 3 front row forwards on the bench, no back five forwards at all.
Hands away, Red! Backwards, always backwards.
Lewis. Up comes Walsh, up comes Thomas. It's good defensive work though by Callum Evans. Johan Hughes in position to get the clearance kick away.
Still in field.
Matthew Lewis. Nash offers himself. The skipper charges forward, and again, Johan Hughes doesn't shirk the duties.
Yeah, he felt a bit of a stinger. He's just got back to his feet. He shook it out. Matthew Lewis has seen some space back there.
Across comes Conbia. That's a lovely raking kick from Matthew Lewis. Keep Llanelli pinned back in their own 22.
Yeah, something needs to know. Here's that tackle. Johan Hughes, real chop. Oh, Nash, decent shot straight back to his feet, shakes the shoulder out. But there's going to be opportunities for Llanelli later on in this game. This Pontypool pack are probably the bigger lumps, more experienced, but they've got to turn it over.
Yeah, Price couldn't keep hold of it, and Matthews now drives towards the line. So does Darren Hughes with Sparks in support. Hodge makes a bridge. Drake is there with Gregory.
Double shot, good double shot defensively though, between Mark Jones and Taylor Davis.
Again, the pick and go round the corner.
Release, Red!
Jamie June.
He's trapped in there, he's trapped. I'm not penalising him, he's trapped. Just stay where you are.
Llanelli right on their own try line. No width to Pontypool.
He's fine, he's trapped. Just stay where you are.
That is the widest man there.
Hands away, Red!
Got to work back towards the post though for me. Work in midfield.
Advantage.
Nash, penalty has gone against Llanelli. Huge pass from Lewis. Oh, brilliantly taken, acrobatically by Callum Evans.
Beyond the hindmost feet.
Penalty is because even though the feet were behind the line, the hands weren't from Llanelli, and that's offside.
Yeah, it's a directive the referee had. The referees had probably 5-6 months ago.
I'm not sure which one of you with. There were two of you.
Players were setting with their feet behind the line, so they're onside, but they're leaning forward, and all the weight is on your hands.
Defending the offside line.
So you're still offside.
Your hands cannot be on the floor beyond the offside line. What are you doing, lads? Captain?
Well, if he doesn't take it, Jordan Thomas walks in.
Such fine margins, isn't it? It's only 1 point in it. There's huge things at stake, isn't there? Neither of these sides, Pontypool, don't want to spend another season in the championship. Llanelli, for a side of their stature, they most certainly do not want to drop down a level. But Meek, we mentioned it earlier, if they just keep up picking these 3 points up through the indiscretion of Llanelli, and they're going to pull away.
From a fairly similar position, and he put the two over in the first half. Kieran Meek repeats it at the start of the second, and Pontypool edge their way back ahead in this seesaw match.
Back to a 2-point ball game.
Meek with the defending to go with his points kicking.
Inside.
It's a remarkable record that Pontypool have got this season. In the league, played 22, won 22, 18 bonus points, 106 points. Second placed Ystrad 76 points.
Yeah, over the last 3 seasons though in the league, they've only lost 1 game. So, you know, it means so much to the players, the committee, the fans. But equally, the Llanelli fans.
And also beating Premiership opposition in Cross Keys and Bridgend in the Cup as well.
It's going to be an edgy 10 minutes or so now. Neither side are going to want to play an awful lot of rugby, so we'll see your territory's going to be all in this mid-third of the field.
Llanelli finished in 11th. Only 12 wins in the season, 6 of them coming in the last 6.
Advantage.
6 wins and 4 bonus points. And they'd have thought they'd have been safe. But Bridgend upset the apple cart with their win up at Sardis Road last week.
Look at the work of Curtis Gregory on this line-out again. Just off Gareth George. There's nothing worse if you're a scrum half. Seen a big, lumbering, clumsy second row coming after you. It's exactly what happened, and it forced Gareth George into the carry. Here's just before the pictures you're seeing. I am liking Gregory. Gareth George has been nippy. He's been vocal. We can hear him up here on the gantry. It's just what you want from your nines, though.
5, set, hold it there.
Well, this should be
Number
within
1.
range for Tom Pridey, you'd have thought. He's looked towards the touchline.
Pulling down.
And he's just jogging across field.
I think everybody else looked towards him. He was just standing there, but it's gone against Jamie June, that man who screamed for just go into his knee, I think Nige said.
Number 1, pulling down. Go back 10 then, please.
Yeah, there's Quick. And there's Herbert, I think it is. A couple of subs for Pontypool.
Water off, please. Water off, please.
Spells with the Ospreys and the Dragons before joining the Scarlets. 7 caps for Wales.
Yeah, just re-signed as well. New contract for a couple of seasons.
Looks to have got plenty in it, and a bit to spare for Tom Pridey. So back to a 1-point game, and that 1 point in favour of Llanelli.
Right. Send them on. Time out.
Mike Herbert replacing Danny Hodge. Aaron Quick replacing Martin Luckwell.
Yeah, both these two started against Merthyr last month, so they'll be looking to make an impact. Quick, especially, very experienced. There's a bit of the coaching at Pontypool, so try and control this final 25 minutes. So important. Manage the areas of the field.
They go wide to Lloyd Lewis.
Backwards.
Loose pass hacked on. Johnny Lewis follows up. It's good work
Hands
by
away, Ruck.
Quick. Got back there first, so who fills in a scrum half?
Yeah, they've got all backs in that far breakdown Pontypool as well, so they have to build to get them back on their feet if they're going to look to kick, because otherwise they're going to have no width on this kick chase.
Quick.
Stay.
Johan Hughes
Stay red. Stay where you are.
looks
Red.
to put it behind the Pontypool defence.
Yeah, good distance. Need some space up now, Gary.
Walsh looks for the far corner. Across comes Johan Hughes to cover. Still alive. As Jordan Thomas gives it away to Martin Lewis. It's going up, says the outside half. So the winger follows. Pridey, very well taken.
Brilliant work by George just to usher. Give Pridey that extra second on the board. Superb work from the Garth George to come off.
Chris Long needed to drop on that because the counter ruck had been good from Pooler. And again. Well, that is ferocious counter rucking from Pontypool. Pooler of old were known for rucking. Game's changed, but some principles haven't.
Just sealing that ball off, but it's great with Darren Hughes, Jordan Thomas, Rob Nash. They're all in there. They've sniffed blood. They've got straight over the ball, and they've got their rewards. So does Meek fancy this one? It's Matthew Lewis going to go for the corner. He's shaping for the corner. And now this brings this heavy Pontypool pack into this game. I'd be a bit disappointed with that one now. You'd want that 5, 6, 7 metres from that try line. Just crept inside the Llanelli 22. So they've got a good 20 metres to go with Pontypool.
Quarter of an hour of the second half played. As close as it could be.
Good contest.
Gregory has won some line-out ball for
Number
him.
3, stay where you are. Okay. Once.
Matthews dragged down by Taylor Davis. Sean Evans can't get over it. It's Pooler's ball still. Nash, again the pick and go. This is the tactic they favoured time and again.
Again, too slow for the clean now. They've got to increase their urgency around this breakdown.
He's moved. 8 is clearly on his feet.
Sean Evans gets the plaudits from his teammates.
You just cannot afford to employ the tactic that Pontypool are employing if there's no urgency to the ball carrier. We've seen, I think there's 3-4 examples of it where Llanelli have got away with that turnover simply because there's that detachment between the cleaner and the carrier.
I will tell you the same to tell you, Captain. If he's off his feet,
A couple of changes for Llanelli. Rhys Thomas comes on in the front row. And the experienced Lee Rhys of Llandyfri comes on at scrum half.
Llanelli, 1 and 9, please.
Approaching 300 games for the Drovers. Price wins the line. Jones on the angle. Spilt by Johnny Lewis.
Backwards, still backwards, advantage. Okay, it's not going to come, lads. Lost on your red.
There's one thing Llanelli cannot afford to do. They're struggling to get any form of territory, and when they do, and it's literally just squeezed into the Pontypool's half. Cheap turnover, it's an unforced error. And I'm not sure, if I'm honest, that's probably going to be the strength of their game. They, for me,
left of the market.
Want to challenge this Pontypool's side with width, with tempo, with speed. Don't want to attack around the fringes. You go with the Pontypool strengths. You like to see your Scott Matthews, your Darren Hughes. These guys thrive off turnover opportunities, winning collisions.
A great end of the season for Pontypridd. Maybe looking back at 1 or 2 slip-ups along the way, wondering what might have been. And Cardiff will as well, because if Merthyr would have lost at RGC last week, as they were looking like doing at one stage, that result at Ponty could have given Cardiff the title. It's not to be now.
Bind. Set. Stay 9.
Quick.
Ball gone,
to
lads.
Lewis. No way through for Meek. Lovely hand by Lewis.
Just drive this back downfield, Pridey.
Stay red.
Spun out by Quick to Walsh.
Stay, boy, stay.
Jordan Thomas
stay
again
up.
following up. Up comes Johan Hughes, very well taken and got rid of it to Steph Hughes.
Stay red, stay red.
Sensible kick there from the Llanelli centre.
Yeah, this is an indecision in this Pontypool backfield, though. When you're kicking, who's chasing, who's staying, they're just not sure and they're getting caught back there.
Turnover. Not for Llanelli.
And their main kicker is on the floor, he was the ball carrier. So Quick's going to have to organise this.
Stay back.
Pontypool haven't been put any under prolonged periods of pressure, have they? It's only just fits and starts that Llanelli have got downfield.
Well, that's due to the inaccuracy, both with the ball and the indiscipline.
Okay.
You just look around this Pontypool pack now, a couple of these players are blowing now. So how can Llanelli expose it? They're going to try and do it. You bring Lee Rhys on the field, he's the sort of guy that really do split defences. Strike down, he's having a bit of a breather as the big man. Having a bit of strapping, / getting some air in the lungs.
Massive game just down the road at the Liberty tomorrow night. It's on at 10 o'clock on S4C. Another close one to call, Rich. The boys at half-time favouring the Ospreys.
Yeah, and if I was a betting man, Gareth, which I'm not, of course, I'd probably go the same. You talk about momentum, it's such a huge thing in professional sport. They've got Alan Wynne, they've got George North, they've got Gareth Davis, they've got Sam Davis. They're the game controllers.
Second with white. Scrum down.
They're the guys that are so important, like Justin Tippett, really lead them on the field. They were the guys that brought the game home against the Cardiff Blues just a couple of weeks ago. And on the flip side of that, the Scarlets have probably struggled over the last month. So I'd probably go Ospreys.
Well, for Llanelli again, that line out, case in point. The second one they've missed, and it's that inability to build pressure and maintain pressure and keep the ball that's really let them down.
So on 50 minutes, we talked about where this game was going to be won and lost.
Good scrum.
Yeah, and everything's been in this mid-third. We varied between Pontypool 10-metre line, Llanelli 10-metre line, and the halfway line. Managing this field is going to be so important. You can only manage it if you stay in possession of the ball. You go multi-phase, stress defences.
Ollie Drake struggling.
Well,
the new prop, Rhys Thomas applying the pressure there. It looked a good Llanelli scrum. And he'll be looking to attack.
Straighten it up, please.
Again, this time you'd have thought.
Shoulders out, please, lads, and we stay square. Keep the space. Crouch. I don't know why you're calling ref all the time. It's your scrum. Set up the scrum. Keep the pressure. Second rows, keep the pressure off, please. Let them come in. Thank you.
Just into the final quarter.
You've been excellent till now, so just keep the standards. Shoulders out, please.
Still as tightly locked.
Crouch.
As any point of the game.
Bind. Set. Hold it there. Keep it up. Drive square and straight.
Again, Llanelli attack
it. Use it then.
And pressure really coming on Pontypool, and Llanelli Park have done a job on them that time.
Drive is on, lads.
Yeah, ski decisions from when you're a coach and you're director of rugby. You know Drake has been under the pump. He's been trying to suck the air into their lungs, so it's perfect what Llanelli have done. They've attacked him, they've gone on top of him. And they've allowed Pridey the opportunity of 3 points. But you've got to look to your bench now. There he is, there's the big guy. He's sucking the air in, so for me, he's got to come off the field. Darren Hughes isn't a young guy. They're missing Aaron Cowley, who we touched on already. So you've got to get some fresh legs in there, strengthen that set piece, and allow them to go to strength.
Conversion and a penalty so far for Tom Pridey. Again, very well struck, curls it inside the right-hand side upright. 3 from C3 for Pridey, and Llanelli open up a 4-point gap. And that's the best they've had so far. Straight down pitch side, Phil.
Yeah, it's Matthew Silver. He knows what it is, the Bridgend coach, to avoid relegation. What are these two teams going through at the moment, Matthew?
I think it's you know, it's a big emphasis and always on if Pontypool can stay with the intensity. You know, Llanelli used to play in that Premiership intensity, and Pontypool now, you know, interested to see if they tire. You know, they've just been drilled in the scrum there, so you know they're going to have to use their bench well.
And you've been on the wrong end in the cup game at Bridgend. What are your thoughts then, if you had to put your money on it?
Well, at the moment, you know, they've just bought a good general on Llanelli and Lee Rees. So you know, at the moment, the money looks like Llanelli.
Okay, and well done on avoiding relegation, of course, for the great Derek King. Give him our best wishes from all on Scrum 5.
Brilliant, thanks very much.
Cheers,
Okay, Matt Silver should be given the freedom of Bridgend.
Yeah, got him in.
Kept them up, but top guy, excellent coach.
We just need to see if
So
Lem actually pulled him down. So if he just made contact, we're probably looking at a penalty. Otherwise, if there's a pull down, it's going to be a yellow card, okay?
Against Jordan
or if
Thomas.
you've got a better view than what we've seen live
off
here.
the kick-off, he's challenged in the air. Okay. Personally, first sight, I thought they both went up at the same time. Here it is.
If you think the actions are careless enough to warrant,
does he pull him down is the
yellow
issue.
card without
He's got his hand on his arm, hasn't he?
There is one.
That's going to be... So they're both in the air at the same time now. John Thomas, eyes on the ball, hands high.
Oh, he's
does he pull him down? Yeah. It's so difficult to manage your body weight in the air, though. It's a natural instinct. But Thomas, he's just down below us.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, for me, it's a penalty only. It's a bit of a mistiming. His hand was still on the player, but it wasn't really a pull-in action. It was still on him, but not a pull-in action down. Yes.
So he definitely does not pull him to ground, no?
No, no.
And it's not careless enough to want more than a penalty. Is that what you're telling me?
Penalty only for me, Nige.
Okay. So it's just a mistiming, and it's a penalty only on this occasion.
It's just dawned on me, of course, why Nige is asking John Mason all these questions. There's no big screen here for him to make his own decision, is there?
I think it's worth having a word in now, because I give you a benefit of doubt on the free kick in the first half, and here was just an unlucky mistiming. So you need to be careful, because if I need to speak to you again about foul play, then it won't just be a penalty. Okay?
Yeah, Nigel Owens, quite rightly for me, have another chat with Joan Thomas. This is third, maybe fourth little indiscretion this evening. But again, he's got away with it. He's on the right side of Nige tonight.
One and three, please.
Two
One
new
and
props.
Three.
For Pontypool.
Okay, time on then.
Corey Hewlett wearing 16. Ben Parry, no number. Oh, Craig Price, rather.
Back.
Patience on the ball for Llanelli now. Really try and stress this Pontypool defence. It's a superb recognition.
It could be on here. And it has Ryan Conbeer on the end of that one. The little grubber kick through, and Conbeer had the pace and the control. And now Llanelli are in charge of the game.
We mentioned it 8-9 minutes ago. They struggle in that backfield defensively to Pontypool. There's no real pendulum system at place. You can see, where's your 15? He's in the front line areas. Geraint Walsh is defending inside Lloyd Lewis on that right-hand touchline. And it's a lovely little bit of recognition by Steph Hughes. And Conbeer not long on the field. Superb work, like a young Messi on the ball.
I'm not sure, I think he missed it first time, but then got it from behind and then got the control to get the touchdown.
That's just that little bit of quality. We've seen it from Pridey with the consistency in his goal kick, and we've seen it there from Steph Hughes. First the recognition, then the execution, just to roll the ball through. And it's just that little bit of quality that sets teams and players apart.
The extras added by Tom Pridey, and the big players are coming through to the fore to Llanelli. And now Pontypool have it all to do in the last quarter of an hour. Steely.
Leighton, the last quarter of an hour, what have you got?
Yeah, I think, you know, probably Llanelli have played better rugby than us. We've been quite negative, really, this half. A bit disappointed with some of the options we've taken, but, you know, there's 10 minutes or so left that we'll empty the bench now and see what we can do.
Confident there still could be a way back?
Yeah, always a way back. I think, you know, that's the mentality of the boys, but we have to start playing a bit of rugby.
Thanks for your time in the circumstances. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, they'll get a chance because it's dropped by Tom Price. Kieran Meek has gone to 10. With Joel Mahoney coming on in midfield.
Number 7.
Well, Leighton Jones is right. So how many times in this game have we really mentioned Clayton Gullis on the ball in attack? The 13 for Pontypool, we haven't seen him. They haven't really played to a lot of width. But at some point, they have to roll the dice now. It's up to 11 points. The difference, they have to be positive on ball. They have to strike the score early.
Crouch.
So Marnie's gone to 13, Gullis is in to 12. They need to show some deception in and around the ball.
Hold it there, please. Keep it square, keep it straight. Keep it straight, lads. Hughes, please. Stay where you are.
Quick to Meek.
It's too easy to
Away
defend.
now.
It's one picture they're seeing defensive line. Look and a knock-on effect. Next two collisions are behind where the scrum initially was.
Hughes, and this is the period of the game that Pontypool really have to do something.
They need a score here, Gar. They need a score.
Good pick up by Matthews. Pass wasn't though. And Corey Hewlett has to go diving back for it.
Release, move. Good.
What have they gone? They've gone back 10, 12 metres now.
They'll start it all again. Kieran Meek. Pridey safely delivers to Callum Evans. Evans bursts through, looks for support and gets
You're not
it.
catching him. Lee Reese is in.
Lee Reese is going to go all the way. And now it looks safe and sound for Llanelli in the Principality Premiership next year.
Lee Reese owes this try Tom Pridey. His work defensively in that backfield to take this ball on the full. His back is facing the defensive picture. He's shifted it inside to Callum Evans. Here it is. Watch the work of Tom Pridey. It looks nothing, but his back is towards, doesn't know what's in front of him, just shifts the point of contact. As he's done that, Callum Evans has done a load of the hard work. And the substitute scrum half on loan from Llandovery to Llanelli. As mentally Reese is in under the sticks. But that is the separation of class, of quality, for consistency under pressure. And the outcome is Llanelli are really pulling away.
And it's the point we were making, Rich. The big players have come through when they needed.
But go back before that, guy. What they have 6-7 phases, Pontypool, they went back, they were forced into that kick. And the quality of Pridey, the quality of Evans to beat defenders, and just the support line from Lee Reese. That's game over.
The Pontypool fans on the far bank haven't given up yet, but the body language of the players on the field is slightly different. They came out really fired up.
Everything is good? Okay. Time on.
And Corey Hewlett's part was very short-lived. He's had to go off, and Marcus Jones takes his place.
Stay, Red, stay.
Walsh. Less than a dozen minutes remaining for Pontypool. Now it's a 3-score game.
Work over the ball again, Sean Evans, again isolated in carry. Technically not great from Pontypool. You've got to drop your body height as you're approaching the contact area. And again, this back row for Llanelli have got their just rewards at the contact area.
24.
Turnover after turnover.
Yeah, when I call stop, it means stop. It doesn't mean keep on jogging. Stop. Okay?
Just that separation again between ball carry and clean.
So if I call stop again,
naturally you're going to lose a race. You're going to lose a ball.
And as Leighton Jones said, he is emptying the bench. Ben Parry for Darren Hughes, but it looks like a gesture in vain at the moment as Chris Long takes the line for Llanelli. Taylor Davis, Ellis Thomas in there.
They've got to commit some more numbers to this Pontypool.
That's red on the floor, play.
Ellis Thomas breaks the blind side. Lee Reese is ready and waiting for a second. Couldn't get it away in time.
Play, lads, it's open play.
Mark Jones just cramping up a bit there.
Yeah, he's been good today. Very industrious, Mark Jones. Very experienced. Bristol Sale. Romford boy originally. He's been everywhere, and that's what you want to see when you see probably regional players stepping down into this level. You want to see them putting their hands up with regard to quality, but you also want to see the endeavour. You want to see the work rate, and you want to see the fact that they've been there. And every single one of these Llanelli players that have stepped down, Steph Hughes, Taylor Davis, Mark Jones, they've done exactly that, and they've really led this Llanelli team.
There's a dummy throw.
Dummy in the line out, hooker. Dummy, hooker.
Brendan Lampett tries to get Pooler moving forward, but they're still embedded in their own half at the moment.
Good by Marnie. Lovely rode the initial contact well. He's just lost the ball.
Rip
In
backwards,
contact
line
now.
out, white ball.
He's a sort of young guy.
No, it's a white ball.
A little bit of pace to get the ball in his hands. Let him really try and challenge this Llanelli defensive line, but they just haven't done enough of it in this 71 minutes so far.
Gregory has been a beacon in the line-out for them, but they haven't been able to use the possession they've got. Merthyr on the scoreboard at last at Sardis Road as they try and work some space for Gullis. Straight through Matthews. Lampett gets them over the gain line, gets them into Llanelli's half. Quick to Craig Price. Out it goes to Marcus Jones. Veers back inside.
Keep the tempo high, keep the tempo high.
Can they get some kind of lifeline in the final 10 minutes?
Next phase, look to strike.
Play on.
There's a loose boot. Unfortunately, robbed them of possession, but they got it back with Llanelli
Let it
hanging
go,
on.
please. Llanelli, let it go. Come off the boot of White. Forward. Holding on here.
Well, it's taking its toll on all and sundry out there.
Time out. What's the score, Mace? Boys are asking here, and scoreboard's not working. What's the score, Mace?
You want to check what the score is because the scoreboard's gone off here. So Nigel Owens just checking with John Mason.
27-9.
The batteries have just run out.
And I'm going to put the time on now, okay? What are you doing? Okay. Time on.
Three scores though, and just 7 minutes to get them.
Yeah, so roll the dice. That's why it probably would have gone, even if you could got ball in hands, a little bit quicker, quick tap, go scrum. So much harder to defend.
Still bound, still bound, still bound, still always bound, always bound. Keep it up, lads.
It's eating into Pontypool's time.
That's a
and
wreck
it's been
now,
defended by Llanelli.
Back.
They're back up on their feet to try and plug those defensive gaps. As Pooler try and rumble on
back,
once
lads.
again.
Yeah, there's urgency for this Llanelli defensive line now. Look at them double hit in, double shot in. The body language is a huge
Advantage
trigger.
offside.
Too keen
Number
now,
11
they've got the
and number
advantage
8.
for offside.
Yeah, penalty advantage Pontypool as Scott Matthews works hard to get it back.
Advantage offside, 11 and 8.
Quick has to dig for it though, to get in amongst those forwards. Cullis.
Still advantage.
Quick has a look either way. Back to the forwards to Gregory.
No
And
advantage.
in the end, they'll have to settle for a penalty.
Number 11 and number 8.
And Llanelli's discipline has been much, much better as the game's progressed.
Yeah, it has, and you know it's no coincidence for me. Their discipline's got better, and they've gone on the scoreboard, but it's allowed them to get territory.
Oh wait, we have a physio in there just in case you go. Time out. Time out. Number
Tom
11
Price
and number 8.
released
offside.
by the Scarlets for next season.
I guess I
Former
said 5
Leicester
minutes,
player.
I'll check for you now. 5.5, yeah. 27-9.
And the message has come through. Nigel Owens has informed Pontypool.
Huh? 7 minutes. Sorry, 5.5 minutes. Okay,
And Scott Matthews' decision
wait.
is
Boys,
with a tap and go.
wait. Behind the line, please. Time on.
Taken by Sparks at the front. Pooler
Keep it up,
have to
lads, keep
score
it up,
here.
keep it
Yeah,
up.
Matthews is on this as well.
Friday comes in. They still kept their shape though of the Pontypool forwards. Gone to ground just short of the try line.
Go back.
Knocked on, and the chance has gone. And any chance at all has gone, you feel, for Pontypool.
No, that was your
Yeah,
hand.
it's just appetite for me now, particularly body language, confidence, appetite, work rate. Llanelli have had it all in this last 10-15 minutes, and that's when they really pulled away.
Red ball.
They won't mind how long this scrum takes, will Llanelli.
4.5.
And Tom Price departs.
Nothing illegal in the mall, Adam, no?
Yeah, it's
Nothing
just
illegal
that.
in your side of the mall.
Again, are they trying to slow everything down just that little bit too much, trying to get everybody in position so it's too perfect?
Now then, who comes on in the second row? It's going to be Greg George.
Wrong.
And while they rearrange, Richie, your choice for man of the match this evening.
Yeah, I've name-dropped probably a few of the Scarlets players already, but, you know, the notable mentions for me, Taylor Davis. I think he was outstanding in that first half, ball in hand, he was beating defenders, he was dynamic, he was getting them over the game. He's a little bit abrasive, probably the only player they had, but you talk about quality and consistency in execution. That man on your screen, Tom Pridey, he's done nothing particularly extravagant. He's kicked his goals when he's had to, and he's got balls where he's made correct decisions when he's had to. And that, for me, is what separates top players from probably semi-professional players. And so, man of the match, Tom Pridey.
Good carry by the Llanelli skipper, Jonathan Lewis. It's just a matter of trying to wind the clock down now for Llanelli, with 4 and a bit minutes to do so. And Leary's quite happy to put the ball off the park.
Yes, interesting one for Ben Jeffries and Pontypool management. How do they regroup, regather to go again, go for a 4th season? I know they're going to fully invest, fully commit to the squad that they've got now to go again next season. But it has to be frustrating to fans, for players. And you can fully understand that.
Quick to Gullis. Around the back comes Meek, up comes Geraint Walsh. Lewis outside him, chases the kick into the 22. Across comes Tom Pridey, and just steps over in the corner with very little options.
Yeah, just off his right wing. It's probably the organisation in that backfield, knowing your roles defensively, who's doing what and when. And that's probably what Pontypool haven't had.
Right place, right time, as Lloyd Lewis goes down with cramp.
Time out, boys, please. You got a cramp?
Well,
in
that first half, Lloyd Lewis was the one who had the golden opportunity for Pontypool, waiting for the ball to bounce into his lap. It bounced over his shoulder, and they'll be looking back on those half chances and thinking, if only.
Yeah, and he's the sort of guy, I think, that Pontypool, if I was leading Pontypool, I'd look to build this side around. The likes of Scott Matthews, Lloyd Lewis, you know, your young guys, you're going to drive them forward. The likes of Matthew Lewis at 10, he's a young, inexperienced guy. So for them to experience this sort of game in this competition.
Pontypool still giving everything in the final 3 minutes. Sparks has a go, is short of the line. Llanelli don't even want to give them a sniff as Lampit in the shadow of the Llanelli posts. Matthews, the skipper, thinks he's got there. Llanelli say no, they're going to come away with it. They're going to play first and then have a look afterwards. They are going to have a look to see if Scott Matthews got the ball down.
Nobody at fault. Wait. No, leave it.
Well, it'll be scant consolation for the man who's taken over as skipper.
Unless it's a try, it'll be a scrum red ball. I can't just throw when I haven't seen anything, okay? I'm going to go back
thinks he's got the try. Llanelli think otherwise.
A couple of the Pontypool players, body language.
I couldn't blow it because
they're already back in their own half. They seem more than happy. But Nigel Owens is just going to check with the TMO. John Mason.
It'll be a scrum red ball, okay?
Affirmative.
He dived for the line and was sure if he got it down. So
Pontypool 6. Pontypool have gone back into their own half ready.
Huh?
They still want to try and chase this one down. Now then.
Yeah, I think he's got it, has he? Scott Matthews. Yeah, was on the line, wouldn't it?
Chris Long claims he was underneath it.
I'll check. Hang on now. You're that confident, you? Huh?
Yeah, it looks like a try to me. Even though it's ripped afterwards by
I'm
Chris
checking
Long.
my TMO, lads, okay?
Nigel, I have a decision for you.
Are you okay, miss?
He grounded it. It's a try.
Try is good.
Yeah, it's a try.
So it is
Scott
a try.
Matthews gets Pontypool's
the
try,
ball,
but it's taken them 77.5 minutes to do so.
Llanelli are going to be in absolutely no rush to take this kick off. Scott Matthews, we've name-dropped him a few times already. He's key to this Pontypool team. I just don't think we've seen enough of him this evening.
Yeah, but Sanu, man, no problem.
Kieran Meek has added the conversion from straight in front, wasted no time. The faintest of lifelines for Pontypool. Llanelli now will need to respect this possession, keep this ball, keep it away from Pontypool. We're still 11 points adrift. Taylor Davis, outstanding game for the hooker in the back row this evening.
The ruck is false, you can't
Lee Rees organising around him. Ryan Thomas.
Yeah, you could have asked for a better 9 to bring on for me. Lee Rees, such a quality, experienced player. I do really enjoy watching him play. And he's just driving his team since he's come on the field. Tactically superb.
Johnny Lewis. Rees. Johan Hughes not too far away. Ellis Thomas there. Into the final minute, and Pooler can't get their hands on the ball. Callum Evans out to Tom Pridey. It could be another for the Scarlets, for Llanelli, and Callum Evans is denied because the final pass from Tom Pridey was forward.
Callum Evans already had his hand in the air. He was celebrating under the posts.
Well, if you'd have passed the guy behind, you'd have been fine. No, he was in front. He was in front of
Tom Pridey having a conversation with Nigel Owens.
Yeah.
But let's have a look.
Not yet, boys. No.
Conbia was there as well.
There's not much in it.
No. At this stage of proceedings, really, he could have let them finish with a flourish.
Yeah, but
not to be.
Yeah, I like about Callum Evans. He's engaged. He's made that outside defender bite on him. He's got the 2v1 with Pride, and then he's looking for the second touch. He got the inside support line. Unfortunately for Evans, he didn't get the try.
Shoulders out, lads, please. Shoulders out. Okay, crouch. 5.
The clock turns red.
Hold it there.
And it's the Llanelli fans who are in full voice. Pontypool in their own 22.
Lost now.
And it's been a monumental effort from the national championship team. Couple of early penalties. A third gave them the lead at the beginning of the second half again. But since then, it's been the Principality Premiership team that have asserted their authority. Tries from Conbia and Lee Rees seem to have done enough. And even though Callum Evans was denied right at the end,
don't touch that now.
It is Llanelli who are going to secure their place in the Premiership next year.
Don't push up ball for the penalty. Let it come back, please. Stay back.
Good from Marnie, stays on his feet well. But they've...
The penalty is Llanelli's, and now the celebrations can begin.
That's it.
It's been a real tough battle,
and then you pull him down.
But Pontypool's effort to get back to the top flight of club rugby in Wales has fallen just short. And it's apt that it's Llanelli's skipper, Johnny Lewis, who has the last word. And in the end, Llanelli were just too good, just too strong. They've won by 27 points to 16. Llanelli will be in the Premiership next year. Phil.
Well, Ben Jeffries, CEO of Pontypool, just how much of a disappointment is that, Ben, given all the 3 years that you've had leading up?
Well, I said earlier in the week that we couldn't lose, and I really meant it, because look around you. There's 2,000-3,000 of the Pooler Army here tonight. unbelievably proud of their team. And sometimes you just have to admit you got beat by a better team on the night, but it doesn't take away from the pride and the passion that we have. We got something very special here, and we wouldn't have changed anything about today. We backed our team, got beat by a better team, but we'll be back next year. We're not giving up.
And that is it. Back on everything the same, back in the championship, back in to win the championship, and hopefully to come up next year.
We're having a party tonight because we're going to celebrate 3 fantastic seasons. The Welsh rugby public knows this game was a farce anyway. We've won the league 3 times. We've lost 1 game in 3 seasons. We're a great team. We'll come back even stronger.
Thanks, Ben, and thanks for your contribution this season in the championship.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah, very disappointed there, Pontypool, but we have somebody who looks a bit happier. Congratulations. Relieved?
Oh, definitely. It's been a really difficult week, especially on the selection as well. Like I said, really delighted with that performance and result in the end. It meant so much to everybody.
What does it mean for Llanelli?
Well, like I said before the game, sort of the history, the club as well. But not only that as well, it's a huge tool, for the region as well. A development tool for the region. So it was hugely important that we had sort of 3 teams in the Premiership next year.
We're going to let you go because I know you want to go and celebrate with your players. Congratulations once again.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Well done. There we go. A very happy Paul Fisher there. Well, they ran away with it, really, didn't they, in the second half, Andrew?
Yeah, they did. They had some quality right throughout that team, and it will shine through. These guys are conditioned. Your Tom Pridey's, your Steph Hughes. These guys are conditioned, and they're going to play for the full 80 minutes. And it was a hard day for Pontypool. I think there was a lot of emotion in Ben Jeffries there talking, but you've got to feel for them. 3 years of investing, 3 years of preparing for this, and to come down to 1 game, it is pretty sad. But they knew that at the start of the season. They knew what was on the line tonight, and they just weren't good enough on the day, unfortunately. They went at their shells a little bit and didn't play, but, congratulations to Llanelli. I don't think it would have been the same without them in the Premiership. A lot of history there, so congratulations to them.
Yeah, could you have imagined a top-flight club rugby in Wales without Llanelli?
Well, I think it's worth saying that Pontypool have represented the Championship really well right throughout the season, not just this game tonight, but right through the season. As you say, it is a tough call on them, but as you say, they knew what the situation was going into it, and you have to deal with that. Don't think you can underestimate playing at Championship intensity and then coming to play at this level of intensity, the difference. It's a huge difference. So, but I got to say, Llanelli, they were well deserved on the night. They got that second half exactly right. They improved the speed of the game, played with a bit more width and exposed those Pontypool defenders. And as you say, the quality shone through in the end.
Let's have a quick look at the tries then that won it for Llanelli in that second half. And as we mentioned, the big boys really stepped up.
Yeah, they did, and you've got a question, really. You can't argue with them that they're playing these big players, because this is what we want to see. We want to see this league as a development tool. You've just seen Steph Hughes putting the kick through, Combia scoring the try, two Scarlets players. Tom Pridey there taking a good ball and putting him away for a nice try again. Yeah. Lee Rees obviously coming on. Richard Rees spoke about Lee Rees, his quality, his experience coming on, managing the game. But as I said, just a lot of people will argue that this team had a lot of Llanelli Scarlets players in there. However, that's the way it should be. We want to use this league as a development tool, so it's the right way to go.
We're going to have to leave it there. Gents, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your company this evening. And there we have it. Llanelli stay in the Principality Premiership next season. They celebrate for another few days, I'm sure. We'll see you very soon. Good night.
Yes, says Llanelli. Yes, says Nigel Owens. Convia steps inside, steps on the gas, and he's lost the ball on the
what a tackle, Lloyd Lewis.
And Convia had the pace and the control. And now it looks safe and sound for Llanelli in the Principality Premiership next year. Pontypool's effort has fallen just short.